When people in the small town of Enugu spoke about success, they often mentioned the name Daniel Okafor. They called him the millionaire who came from nothing. But Daniel knew the truth. He didn't come from nothing. He came from loss. Daniel was only 8 when a tragic road accident stole both his parents. One day, his home was filled with laughter. The next, it was swallowed by a deafening silence. He and his little sister Ada were taken in by a distant uncle who was already struggling to feed his own children. Life from that moment on was not kind. Daniel went to school in a torn uniform. He often did his homework under the dim glow of a streetlight when the power went out. Many nights, he and Ada went to bed with the gnawing ache of hunger. Other children mocked him, calling him an orphan. Teachers looked at him with pity. Relatives whispered behind their hands, certain he would end up on the streets. But they couldn't see what was burning inside him, a fire. A promise he made to himself one night, holding his little sister as she cried from hunger. He whispered to her, "One day we will never have to beg again. I will change our story." Years rolled by. Daniel was a blur of motion. He worked any small job he could find after school. He washed cars, carried heavy goods in the market, and learned to fix phones just by watching others. Every single coin he earned, he saved. He devoured borrowed books on business and technology. While his friends slept, he was awake, planning, dreaming, building his future in his mind. After secondary school, university was an impossible dream. He simply couldn't afford it. But giving up was not an option. With the small amount of money he had painstakingly saved, he started a tiny phone repair kiosk. It was nothing more than a wooden table and a toolbox. People laughed at first. "Look at the orphan playing businessman," they'd say. But Daniel was different. He was honest. He fixed phones properly and charged fair prices. His integrity was his best advertisement. Word began to spread like wildfire. Soon, his small kiosk wasn't so small anymore. It grew into a shop, then 2 shops. Before long, he started importing phone accessories himself. Within just 5 years, Daniel was at the helm of a growing electronics distribution company, supplying several towns. At 28, he bought his first house. And by the time he was 32, he became the first millionaire in his entire extended family. The same relatives who once whispered about his bleak future now praised him openly. They brought their own children to him, seeking his advice and wisdom. But Daniel never let pride corrupt his heart. He remembered where he came from. The very first thing he did with his wealth was build a beautiful, proper house for his uncle, the man who, despite his own struggles, had given him and Ada a roof over their heads. The second thing he did was establish a scholarship foundation for orphans in his town. During the foundation's opening ceremony, Daniel stood before a large crowd. Cameras flashed, and children in neat, new uniforms smiled up at him. He leaned into the microphone and said softly, his voice full of emotion, "Being an orphan is not the end of your story. It is only a chapter. Pain can build power if you don't let it break you." In the front row, his sister Ada wiped tears from her eyes. She was now a successful medical doctor, her dream realized through her brother's unwavering sacrifice and support. Daniel looked up at the sky for a moment, as if speaking directly to his parents. "We did it," he whispered. "From hunger to hope, from tears to triumph, from an orphaned boy to a self-made millionaire." Daniel Okafor's story became a living testament to the powerful truth that where you start in life does not have to decide where you finish. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that celebrates the strength of the human spirit.